hand over his mouth. He didn't want to say anything the way it's going. There's a three from Banks. They're 2 and 3 with the threes.
We're with the ball, so we all right.
All right.
Shining moment.
From the Makerspace in the Canyon Springs High School Library, welcome to episode 6 of the Library Podcast. I'm Dr. Rico, along with Principal Marcouzis, Jerry Rice, and Eason Drayton. This podcast discusses what's going on in the Library Media Center, reading materials, and much more. We have a full slate today. Jerry and Eason, what's happening on the program?
Today our special guests are Coach Banks and Coach Mo.
Yes, indeed. Eason, what else?
Principal's Corner, of course, we have the NCAA Final Four predictions.
A lot to cover, so let's get right into it. Coach Banks and Coach Mo, thanks for joining us and welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Great to have you on finally. We will get into the Library News Minute before the interview starts. All right, so to celebrate Nevada Reading Week, March 4th to 8th, we had 3 contests, the Reading Challenge, the Poetry Contest, and Daily Cahoots during lunch in the library. We had over 80 participants. U.S. history classes came in to view the documentary Potentially Dangerous When It Was a Crime to Be Italian, followed by a Q&A with director Zach Believa. Later today, ELLs helping ELLs in the library. We'll have somebody coming in from UNLV. Please check out our latest book collection, Home Run Reads, celebrating baseball season community puzzle. Is currently students working on the Marvel superheroes in the Makerspace. And the freshman library orientation started, wrapping up April 22nd. And those students are now versed on Follett, Destiny, Discover. And we're happy to report circulation numbers are up, perhaps as a result of the orientations. That's your Library News Minute. All right. So I'm going to turn it over to Eason and Jerry and Mr. Marcouzis. Oh, sorry. We have the Principal's Corner.
Yes, we do.
Is it now?
Yes, if you would.
Whoa. Well, the only thing I can update in the Principal's Corner is I know how big of a week it is this week. We got prom. Prom season is upon us early, so we only have a handful of tickets left. The venue's at the Industrial. I'm excited about that. We also had only, believe it or not, only a few weeks left of school. School ends pretty quick. It gets busy the last 2 weeks. So what I always want to tell my pioneers is always just be focused on getting those academics all done in these next few weeks. Make sure that you enjoy each and every moment, especially if you're a senior, because once it goes away, it's gone forever. Juniors, take note. Juniors, right? Jerry, Eason, take note of that, because when you're going to be seniors here soon enough, and you want to enjoy each and every day. So prom season's upon us. I know you guys are going. School year, so finish strong, right? And we'll go from there. But thank you, sir.
All right. So first, Coach Banks and Coach Mo, thank you for coming. We know you're busy on campus, keeping this place safe, and as well as coaching basketball and recruiting and doing all that stuff all the time. So you guys are here 24/7 a lot of the time, and I appreciate that. We appreciate that. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, both of you first, starting with Coach Banks?
Well, I'm Coach Banks. I've been native of Las Vegas for 50-plus years. I've been in Canyon Springs for 22 years when school opened up. I've been all over the place. I've been playing for UNLV, got drafted by Detroit Pistons in '87. Been playing basketball all my life, and I just love basketball. I don't never stop watching basketball. So tonight is girls' night. I'll be watching that too after our basketball banquet. So I just love basketball.
How'd you start?
Long good question, Eason. You know what? Here's where I started off. I was in the front of my mom's yard every night from 2 o'clock, from early in the morning to 2 o'clock in the morning. I always put a light in the window so I can play basketball. So that's why I started in front of the yard. And ever since then, I love the game.
You love the game?
I love the game. Absolutely.
So I know you hold a world record, actually. You want to talk about that?
That's a good question, too.
I did my study.
You did your study? Yeah. That's good. That's good.
I told him to do his research. And
well, I hold the record in the Final Four. In 1987, I had 10 3-pointers. I finished with 38 points. I was unconscious, basically. And what that means is anything that went up, went in. And so I lead the 40 years ago, I'm still holding the record. There's other guys that beat my record during their season, but this is the Final Four week. This is March Madness. This is where I really, really watch the games, see who's gonna break my record.
They got you like a trophy for that, or
Just, hey, you in the record book. That's all it is.
Nothing?
Nothing. Just in the record book.
Or,
UNLV Hall of Fame.
Yes.
I know about that.
Yeah.
You got your jersey retired
Yes.
just recently. Yeah.
Yes.
How was that for you?
Oh, man, that was beautiful. Anytime you have your parents still living and they can also come to see you, that's a blessing. My mom and dad is 87 years old. They've been there for me ever since.
That's
so it's a
wonderful.
blessing. So I have a couple more things to go before I retire, and I hope I succeed that.
That's great.
Yes.
so were you always UNLV, or was there a?
Easton, at the time when I was being recruited, I had so many people knocking on the door. I had to narrow it down because, as a kid, you don't want everyone bothering you because then that stop you from being a kid. So I narrowed it down to Nebraska, Iowa, and UNLV. So my recollection was, hey, do I want to leave town or do I want to stay here and let my mom and dad watch me for another 4 years? I stayed home. That was the best decision I made because Coach Tartt said, when his son leaves UNLV, the team belongs to me. He kept his word. Thank you, Coach, for that.
That's great.
I know you worked at or you played a little bit in Greece too, didn't you?
You was on your homework.
I had time.
Let's go to this on his homework.
No, Easton's top notch. But
Yes, sir.
Future broadcaster.
Yes.
UNLV
He's
for
good,
broadcasting.
Yes, he is good.
Yeah.
You don't speak any Greek, do you?
No. That's a good question, too, because I had two boys. One was 3 and one was a year old. No. Freddie Jr. was 4 and Brandon was 2. They learned it. But if you ask them today, they don't know nothing about it at all. That's beautiful. Wild. Man, that's a good question, man. Yeah. So let me explain to you why I was at Greece. When I got drafted by Detroit, I was the last one cut from the program. At that time, they had Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dubarnes, Vinnie Johnson. They had a crew of guards. They didn't need me. And my question was, why did y'all draft me? I have no control over that. But I did have control if I wanted to go there or go somewhere else. But I chose to go in because playing against with Isaiah Thomas, come on.
Yeah, legend.
Legend, big legend. Yeah. Playing with Rick Mahorn, who's a friend of mine right now. We talk every day almost, big time. So it means a lot. So then after I finished that, I played in what we call now the CBA when I was playing. Now it's the, what is the league now called?
The G League.
G League. They call it the G League now. See, when I was playing, it was called the CBA, Continental Basketball Association. It's like the G League. So after I left there, I went overseas. I said, let me get this overseas 1 year. Went over there, had a good time. Americanized. I can eat their food. I cook my food every day. My wife and my son, and we ate. They went to the nursery. I went to play basketball. All they had to do was just enjoy. Then I had my third son, and that was it. I said, you know what? Kids are here. I need to take care of my family. And I said, I'm done.
Was there any difference in like their plays and stuff? Like their techniques over there in Greece?
It is. It was basically because what it is, if you're American, you better put the ball up, you better score, or they're going to send you home. So when an American come over there, you got to average at least 40 to 50 points, or you going home. So I was averaging about that. So it was fun. It was fun. I can truly say it was a blessing for me to learn another culture.
What was the fan base like for you? Like the people, the
They are
energy?
nuts. They was nuts. If they are on the floor and they yelling and screaming. At one time, we was at another arena. They had a bunch of nickels and they threw them at my wife. And wow, she went ballistic. And I went ballistic too. So the owner of the team said, y'all better get them because you're not finna hurt my American player. So it was a lot going on over there, a lot.
Whereabouts, Coach, did you live in Greece, or where'd you stay? Was it in the big city in Athens? Or was
No, I was in a small island called Cyprus.
Oh, you were in Cyprus.
Yes.
You played in Cyprus.
Yes. Yes.
Wow, that's interesting because Cyprus is an island that's both under Greece and Turkish
Yes,
rule.
absolutely.
So that's even
Absolutely,
more
absolutely.
Yeah.
And by that time, the war was going on too. Remember
That's
that?
right.
Yes,
Yes,
see?
it was. Yeah.
So y'all won't know about that. But
Much
you look at
conflict.
that.
Well, because my parents are Greek immigrants. And
Okay,
I know, yeah.
okay.
And so my dad immigrated to Canada, and I just know how contentious
Yes.
the Turkish people and the Greek people and the Yugoslavia and
Yes.
Macedonia, all them, they get all salty during that
did.
time. And that was a tough time,
Yes, it
too,
was.
when we played
Yes, it
that
was.
time. Wow, that's something
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
Wow.
Because we flew in
Yeah.
to Athens Airport, and the war had just ended. And as American, you come know that they're looking at you like, wow, why are you here? And they were staring at me and my wife, my kids. And I was like, we're not doing this. Give me where I need to be so I can go enjoy myself. So it was nice.
That's awesome. But
Yeah.
I mean, nice to see Greek islands and all that. I'm
Yes,
sure
oh,
it's
beautiful place.
Right? Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Did you ever go back?
No, I was done. When you have your children, your family, you got to figure out, hey, what do you want to do? You want to continue to play ball, or you want to let your family starve?
That's right.
I said, no, I can't let them starve. Yes.
So do you also play basketball? Or?
Oh, yeah. Like Coach Banks myself, I grew up in a family that's very athletic, born in Chicago, raised in Chicago, had 3 wonderful stops. Played in Memphis, which is a hoop town. Went to high school out there 1 year. Moved on to L.A., played in high school out there. Like I said, very athletic family. My cousin Duran McCoy played with the Knicks a little bit, with Patrick Ewing and all them, around 86, 87, around there. So, like him, basketball chose me as well as my family. As for me, as a player, same thing, just on a slight little bit lower level, but I could play on a higher level. So I did get recruited by Denny Crum, which was at Louisville University, also Jim Herrick, which was at UCLA. End up being a knucklehead, wasn't going to school, which our leader said, hey, stay in the books.
Yep.
So I ended up at Glendale Community College. That's where I played at my first 2 years of junior college basketball. Played under a great head coach named Brian Boschman. He taught me the game from being fast-paced to learning to set screens and using your footwork, I should say. So once I learned all that, I went up to Cal, enrolled at Cal. Coach Braun wanted me to wait. I didn't want to wait, so I ended up transferring from Cal University to Patton College, now Patton University, and ended up playing the rest of my days there, where I averaged about 28 points a game my junior year, averaged 31 my senior year. From there,
Oh, sorry.
that's okay. Well, from there I went on to play in PBA, which is in the Philippines.
Oh.
Yeah, played on the Royal Knights and everything. It was pretty good,
You did everything.
Well, I told you, basketball chose me.
So here's some a little bit not concerned but interested in. How was training for you two, like for basketball?
Training?
Yeah.
Oh, I stayed in the gym. I can tell you, my first time learning about training, I came in my second year in junior college. I was totally out of shape. Cheeseburgers, fries, milkshakes.
Delicioso.
All the good stuff. all the
Couldn't run, couldn't keep up. And being in junior college, you only get 2 years. So first year you there, you either playing or you just getting barely some minutes. Well, when I came in, I was getting no minutes. So I had to go in there to the coach's office and I asked him, I'm like, Coach, how come I'm not playing? He go, well, stand on the scale. Stood on the scale. He said, well, you being 5'11", I think you should be at least, 165, 170 at the most? I was about 205. So I had to really work. I'm talking about like nights where you go home and you just sleep, no shower, and you still in your practice gear. That was me.
So here's why I'm interested in that. Because y'all went from playing the game to coaching the game in the 20th century. We're in the 20th. I didn't mess up.
21st.
21st.
21st,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, you didn't
know,
mess up. It's your one.
But I want to know, what is the difference between how you were getting trained with your coaches with how you have to train King and Spring students today? Because y'all got to compete with TikTok, Instagram, y'all got to compete with a
A
lot.
lot
Good
more
question
distractions.
right there.
yeah.
It is.
That's a great question.
Off the dome. I didn't write this one down.
He on it. Yeah. Okay. I started off. So I always wanted to be a coach.
Right.
Like every team I've been on, I was the team captain, I was the MVP, best defender, all that. I was eye to eye with my coach. He controlled the bench, I controlled the floor. So I always wanted to be a coach. So through the years, I've been coaching well over 25 years, believe it or not, on 4 different levels. Okay? That's Division I, NAIA, community college, and about 3 stints of, maybe 4 stints of high school. So, and that's girls and boys.
Right.
So now, what you want to know coaching today is you kind of got to have like some rules in place, but you kind of let them get a little bit of juice too. So normally, like the big guy right here, he go like, well, if we win the game, he's like, okay, don't go crazy online, on TikTok, whatever, them all the social media outlets, because we might have to see that team again. So we don't want to give them no material to put on the board and say, they said this, coach said that. So you kind of have, this is give and take. Let's just say that's a give and take to it. So as long as you have some rules in place and you kind of stern with them and you give them a little sugar, you can get by.
Because I used to record, I think it was freshman year, I used to record your boys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do it anymore. I got to let the trainees do it now.
Okay.
But I would do it if it's 10 o'clock. I don't know if I would do it. But it was pretty interesting seeing it and then watching you play this game now. It's such a different sport now.
Well, it is a different sport now because basketball has changed a lot. Defensive-wise, when I was playing, we was 94 feet. You have to work hard to do that. What I'm trying to do to the kids now, the kids that I'm at Canyon Spring, is to do the same thing. It's like training a new dog, new tricks. And I'm trying to train them to do what I've done because that's what I've learned. So when you're doing that, it's easier. But if they don't get it, you have to adjust. So I have to adjust to what they know to what I know and get it out of them. So my motive is, if you ain't going to listen, I have a place for you, and that's sitting next to me. And a lot of kids don't like to sit down, because the kids today, it's like Allen Iverson. They want to make you fall down. So they want to cross you over. Back in my day, it's one move, pull up. Now it's 3-4 different moves, and the defense is right back in front of you.
Or shoot the 3.
Or shoot 3. So it's different. It's much different. But what I try to tell them this year, because I had 10 seniors, I got to start all over again. Hey, it's a good thing, and it can be a bad thing. But I have to teach them how to respect each other first, do your schoolwork second. Well, let me rephrase that. Schoolwork first, okay?
There we go.
Schoolwork first, because fighting with kids that don't want to do nothing but play basketball, this is not the place for you. You need to go do your schoolwork first. That helps me out as the coach because I ain't got to go and say, hey, teacher, what is this kid doing? Why you not? Because you on TikTok. Leave the cell phones alone. When we was in school, Mr. Marcuses, Mo, Doc, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have, we had encyclopedias in our brains.
That's right.
That's all we had. So now the cell phones is really taking a toll, Chromebooks taking a toll on the kids. But it's okay. But if they listen to what I tell them, hey, the teacher's job is to help you if you're having problems in class. Go to the teacher. I got your back. So it's doing a good job. So I've been successful since I've been here.
I mean, y'all seem like y'all got coaching figured out now. Was there any little struggles in the first years?
Oh, yeah.
No, yeah.
It was, when we first opened up, it was a lot of struggle because the kids are bigger, stronger.
Right.
Now the kids are smaller. If I can get one, and I mean one, Marcus, if I get one, just one.
We need to get that one.
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
We get 169, oh, we got something.
Game over. Yeah.
Yes.
It's true.
We get one. But it's so hard to get them because everyone else is promising this and promising that to the kids. I'm not like that. I'm just here to help you to get to the next level. Sometimes kids, when Mo asked me, he said, tell the kids, hey, man, y'all know who y'all playing for? kids don't care about what I've done in my life. They care about the LeBron James. They care about the Kobe Bryant, what they doing now. See, that's their era. My era was the Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson era. So it's different.
You should see what they doing to LeBron on TikTok right now. It's wild on there.
They roasting him or what?
No, it's even worse.
It's even worse.
Really?
Top tier simping.
Really?
Yep.
Aren't
They
they?
have-
Aren't they going after his? Are they going after his son,
Son,
because of what
yeah.
happened
No.
with the
Son's
Diddy's
Really?
in
No.
the draft. It was just announced
Was it?
minutes ago.
Were they saying? Were they going?
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, we don't deviate from the Final Four, but
Really?
I
He's
thought I
leaving
saw
USC?
some flash about his kid and Diddy's girls or something.
Wow.
daughters or
Yeah.
whatever.
I heard about that. Wow.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about
Right.
that one.
We don't want to go down.
Right.
Diddy.
Right.
Go down the Diddy.
Gonna be
wanna
canceled.
That's the Hollywood. That's the Hollywood report.
Yeah,
making it to
that
season
one
four.
podcast. We keep this PG podcast.
That's
All
a
we need
different
to do
podcast.
is make it to season 4 at least.
That's right. We do not
Season
want to go
4
down
at
that
least.
pit. No, not that rabbit hole. All right.
But yeah, no. It seems like old basketball is more rougher and tougher than new basketball, in my opinion. It's a little bit more lenient on the rules now, I would say.
I can help you with that. You know how many Europeans we have in playing now?
How many?
It's a lot of them, right? They're not physical dudes, so they wouldn't be able to compete. So we playing a more European style rather than the Shaquille O'Neal style. Or Patrick Ewing or Matumbo, who was that, Tree Rollins and all those guys, Bob Lanier. You probably won't see that no more because they want the Europeans to play. It's been monopolized with the money. So the NBA is becoming more of a revenue business rather than a talented business, if you understand what I'm saying.
I understand fully.
Because if you 6'5" and under, you might not play in the league. You almost have to be 6'8", 6'10", and on above to play.
I'm barely 6.
Yep.
It's a slower game now. I mean, you can see by Luka, he don't run. You see Jokic, he don't run. These are all European guys, And even some of the teams in the lower markets that you probably wouldn't know, they're not running guys. But because they're from different areas in the world, they command what? Like Yao Ming. The NBA gets what? They get their Chinese money.
All that money. Yeah.
You get the Italian, the Slovenians, and all that. So that's where the game is kind of being shifted to.
You know what's fascinating about today's basketball? How athletic the big guys are now. Like, and how well they can shoot. It's like back in the day, you had a big guy.
Yes.
There was some part of their game to struggle, like couldn't hit the free throw, couldn't hit the mid-range jumper.
Right.
I mean, outside of Kareem, right, and Magic, these big guys now, like that Edey kid at Purdue.
Yes.
I mean, that's crazy to watch that guy.
Yes.
I mean, he's 7'4", 300 pounds.
Yep.
Then you got big man at NC State. What is it?
Burns, DJ
Jr.
Burns.
That guy. I mean, to watch, they move like point guards in
Yes.
some ways, right?
Yes.
And it's just crazy, just to see how they move. And even the ladies, like, that's
my
why
God.
I am blown away.
Yes, I am
The
too.
last 2 years, and I'm not just saying this, guys. Like, I mean, the girls, NC2A, the last 2 seasons, glued. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Kate and Clark. I mean, obviously.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, what is
Yes.
it?
Angel Reese. from
Angel
LSU.
Reese, and what's the other? There's another blonde girl that's
Oh,
on.
from UConn,
no, from
I think?
LSU, the little point guard. I think she just got in the transfer portal.
Van Lip.
Yeah, that's
Haley.
it.
Yeah,
Haley, that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, just to watch them play it's exceptional. Just and then just the game. It's just the one thing I loved always about college basketball is like you can see how the effort, the coaching, the technical part, the scheme of it. It's just such a quality game. And like the thing I like about the ladies, it's different about the guys now, is a lot of the ladies are returning.
Yes.
So like you kind of build a storyline, whereas the guys, like every year you don't know who's coming back. It's crazy. That's why it's like every year it's a whole reset because of one and done. You can go to the league or transfer portal. So it's going to be an exciting weekend outside of prom. It's going to be exciting. Exciting weekend, all right? So I know I can't wait. I can't wait for that stuff this weekend.
Prom's going to be
You know
busy
what?
for me.
Mr. Marcus, what you're saying that is, it also hurts some of these high school kids.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
You know, now that they have the portal, for me to have my kids to go to a D1 school, junior college school, it's harder to get them signed in because of the portal. When I contact coaches, they say, well, Coach, we're going to wait until the portal because they're waiting on who they can pick up to come to their school. And that's tough. It's tough on the kids now.
And you know, Coach, the thing about the portal, basketball in particular, because there's only so many spots in basketball.
Absolutely.
You know, football, they
Yes.
got 85
Yep.
scholarship spots, 105 roster typically. Basketball is in the teens, right? I'm not sure what they carry. It's in the teens. Sometimes you just need some teams just need 1 or 2 or 3 kids in basketball. But you're right, with the portal, go and get someone from another school that may be a little unhappy.
Yes.
And then you could win, and it's both ways.
Right.
You know, you got programs like, especially even look at UNLV. A lot of pressure always.
Yes, it
Every
is.
year is a lot of pressure.
Yes, it is.
UNLV's got the pressure of a top 25 college, but we're never, it's still struggling to get in the top 25.
Right,
So
right.
there's that same pressure. So, he's got to go after transfer portal kid or
he
something
do.
like that. He's got to go get him, and sometimes that local hero. It's harder for that local hero to get in there. I know we had that one kid from in town, right?
De'Don Thomas?
That's right. I think
Yeah.
so. That went over there, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard. It's a little easier in football, but it's affecting all sports,
sports.
including
Yes.
football too. Yeah, it is
Yes.
tough. It is tough for our kids now.
Yes.
For sure. So the pathway's a little harder.
I think if this NIL money, I'll be filthy rich right now.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll be rich. Because when we was in school, you couldn't accept money. Otherwise, your school go on probation.
Prop 48.
Yeah. So now they giving money.
That's right.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough.
Well, and schools are getting creative with the
Yes.
way they do NIL.
right.
And I'm not sure if you guys know, it's name, image, and likeness, NIL. That's what it stands for.
I know it is, yeah.
Name, image, and likeness. That's okay. No, I know. And it's because I think not everybody realizes it, but, a lot of schools too, especially with, you mentioned social media, TikTok, all that other stuff, kids can now make money
Yes.
on that. But, like it used to be in the day, like if coaches gave you all your gear, jackets, sweatpants, shoes, you name it, you couldn't sell any of that. You couldn't even barely give it away. You weren't
Right.
allowed. It was yours. Now, what I even heard, like, for example, like University of Oregon, which I think was brilliant, for their football team, they give all their football players like a dozen plus, like the special Jordans they make custom for Oregon, gear and everything, and they give them to the athletes to sell it so they can make extra NIL
wow.
money.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so I found that out the other
knew
day. I
that.
was like, what? Because that the Nike owner just pumps all of his money. I heard a stat that Nike owner could be like top 3 richest guys in the world, but he's like 350 something because he gives all of his money to Oregon and Nike.
They
And
sure
imagine
do.
getting custom Jordans or custom shoes or custom clothes made for you and your program. You can turn around and sell that online and make, I don't know. I was in the mall the other day. I was looking at a pair of Jordans. They were like $2,000. I'm like, $2,000? These things better make me fly. Right. I better put them on and dunk and run. And I'm like, who's going to pay 2 G's for that? But people pay 2 G's for that.
Right.
Coach Mo's got some J9s on right now. I was looking at J9s. They're like $200. I'm like, damn.
$225.
Yeah, there you go. And I was
$225.
anyway, but my point is to shoot. But anyway, that's how they're making money. So anyway, we don't want to deviate too much. But
Right.
That's just crazy. How these kids make money now.
I'll stick to my Skechers.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Stick to Skechers.
I'm gonna stick to the Skechers. All reliable, right?
Skechers makes basketball shoes now too.
Absolutely, they make everything. Every shoe.
By the way, that's a Ed O'Bannon rule.
Yeah, that's right. That is true. Coach O'Bannon, Ed O'Bannon, who I got to know because his wife worked at Liberty. His kids went to Liberty.
Jazzy.
Yeah, that's right. And great guy, but people don't realize that. Like Ed O'Bannon shaped the way it is today.
Yes,
and
he
I
did.
mean, I look at it this way. I know the NIL is rough in terms of it's kind of a little bit of the Wild West. Young people make money. But when you look at how they were taking it, like think about you, Coach. you got taken advantage of when you were in
Yes.
college.
Yes.
Right? I
Yes,
mean,
I
yes,
did.
you're right. You
Yes.
got a scholar, whatever.
That's it.
But UNLV, and again, UNLV, everybody made a lot of money off you and your namesake.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Your name, image, and likeness. The city
Yes.
made a lot of money off your name. They made a lot of money off Armand
Mm-hmm.
Gillen. They made a ton of money off that team. Banners, you name it, events. You'd show up to an event.
Yes.
You got no money. You maybe got some free food.
That's
you
it.
got no money. The university got money. So
Yes.
that's why, like, I love the NIL. There needs to be guardrails, which I know they're trying to figure out. I know Nick Saban, the former Alabama coach, is working with Congress for some guardrails, but I think players should be compensated. I just think that the colleges and universities and the NCAA has been exploiting young athletes unfairly. But now we also don't. It's a little. But then you hear the stories like this guy's making $10 million.
Right,
And
right,
He can make
right.
more. It is crazy.
It's
but
crazy.
We got to find out a balance. But I think I'm glad that the athletes are finally being recognized and compensated as opposed to being exploited. Because honestly, there are so many athletes that receive like that they call the athletic death sentence, right? They get their names stripped out of the Hall of Fame. They have to give back an award. They get scrutinized on social media because they sold their jersey or gave a jersey or a pair of shoes to their friend. And I'm like, are you kidding me? But the NCAA and their university made tens of millions
Yes, they
of
did.
dollars.
Yeah.
And I know, Coach, you know that. That's why Coach, when he said he would have been like loaded, filthy rich, it's true because parts of this city and the university made a lot of money off of that, and they still do. Like, think about it. We're every year, right, Coach?
Yes.
They call you every year
They
during
do.
this time.
They do.
You go to events still.
Yes.
You and your like all the old teammates, they bring
Yes.
you back. They bring you back with the '90s players.
Yeah.
They still talk about those days.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And think about that. I mean, again, it's still right. It still resonates with our town. But
Yes.
anyway, I don't want to get crazy on the podcast. We got to talk
No,
about
this
modern
is.
stuff.
I love this
Yeah,
stuff.
no,
I
so
love
I can talk
no.
about this stuff all
Right,
day.
right,
I love it.
exactly.
I got a question that I grew up in New York watching you, and I remember this game that we just watched here, the Final Four. But Tark was an enigma. He was like a legend. Two questions? What was it like to play for him? You have kind of like a maybe 3-part question. A special story that maybe normal person wouldn't know about him, and have you implemented any of his coaching style into your coaching style?
And y'all come with a lot of good questions.
These guys are sharp.
Yes, he does.
Ready. They were excited.
Playing for Coach Tark was an honor to playing for him, Doc. What he did for me that he never did for anyone else, for say, but I know what he did for me. When he recruited me, he sat in my mom and dad's living room, and earlier I was telling you about Danny Tarkanian. When he leaves, the team belongs to me. He kept his word. Tarkanian was Armenian. The story with him coming over to America, I think it was in a war, and he had to get him out of there because they was killing all the children. So he got on I think he said a horse, and they got him out. So a lot of stories you don't know that I do know. But playing for him was great, man. I mean, absolutely great. Because I remember, if you look at the film that we're watching now, some of them shots I take, normal coaches will pull you out the game. You won't probably go back in later. But he kept me in. He was telling everyone, don't mess with me because you'll mess my confidence up. So I kept shooting. Anytime a coach tells you to keep shooting, that's a plus because I kept shooting because he told me to.
He believed in you.
He believed in me, yes.
Yeah.
So even if I miss, he told me if you miss 30, just keep shooting. He kept his word. So I loved him for that. From this day, even though he passed on, I loved him for that. But I really respect him a lot. Playing for him, a lot of people didn't like him, but I loved him. Because I'm a man of my word, and that's what I like, what he did for me. Yes.
Yeah, when you think about even that game, the two legendary head coaches, like people forget, like those legends. You got Bobby Knight on one
Yes,
side,
yeah.
Tark on the other. Very, very, kind of. There's some similarities there.
Yes.
You got the East Coast, West Coast kind of feel, even though I use more.